So it's easy to get confused considering everyone and their dog has some kind of information or some kind of opinion on how you need to lose weight or succeed in your fitness journey overall. But the thing is, a lot of these people only come out with like the smallest little things that you can do. Are you fasting? Are you doing countless hours of cardio? When are you eating your meals? Are you eating 5 meals a day? Are you eating 1 meal a day? And all of this shit. So obviously it's going to feel a little bit confusing considering everyone's saying something different. But I'm going to break it down for you in a very easy, very understandable way, and also make you realise that the majority of what people are saying is just completely irrelevant. Now I've got a glass in my hand and I want you to use this as representation of your fat loss results. I've also got some ping pong balls, and what I want you to do is I want to imagine that these ping pong balls represent the basic shit that you need to do in order to actually achieve the goals that you set out to achieve. So firstly, in order to achieve your fat loss results, you need to be eating less calories than what you burn off. That is a non-negotiable. That has always been the case, that will always be the case, and that will always ever be the case. If you do not do this, fat loss just won't occur. Next up, in order to make creating that calorie deficit easier, you need to ideally be eating whole, nutritious foods. Plenty of protein as well. Now, I'm not saying that your whole diet has to be exactly this, but a large quantity of it does. I recommend about 80% of the foods that you eat should be nutritious, should fuel you, and should contribute towards your fat loss success. Around 20% of the foods that you eat should be basically for adherence reasons. Chocolate, cake, tasty shit. Go to the gym at the very minimum of 2 to 3 times a week, focusing on weight training primarily, but you can also add cardio into it as a secondary objective. And actually put in a decent amount of effort as well. Don't just go in there and just piss about. You know, come out knowing that you've done something. But also, don't run yourself into the ground either, else you'll be aching for about 2 weeks and won't visit again. Actively put steps in place to improve your general activity. So look at your current step count and just try and improve it by about 1,000 or 2. Walk to work, walk to the shops, park further away from the doors to the place where you're trying to get to. Use the stairs instead of the lift. Do more chores around the house. Pace whilst on your phone. You get the idea. Just try and improve your activity somehow. And last but not least, try your hardest to get a minimum of 6 hours of quality sleep a night, if that's possible. I get how it must be being a new single mum of a 6-month-old who's screaming every night. So only if you are able to. And the reason why is because if you have a shit quality of sleep, then you're most likely going to be a little bit more hungry, a little bit less satiated, and you won't have recovered as much as what you should have done. So as you can see, this glass is now quite full. It's full of ping pong balls. Now this glass and the water within it represents all of the other shit. So all of the other things that fall outside of these important basics. Meal timing, supplements, carbs and fat intake, you get the idea. Now when this glass is full of ping pong balls, there still is room for all of this little stuff, which is fine. However, if we do it in the opposite way, so if we just try and consume all of the meaningless stuff that isn't really that important, meal timings, carbs and fat intake, you get the idea, then not only are we not going to get results because we've not focused on the basics that actually do get results guaranteed, but also if we then start trying to do the basics, we get overwhelmed and they just don't fit because there's not enough space for all the basics to be there because you are not focusing on the basics, you're focusing on the largely irrelevant shit. So focus firstly on the basics and getting them nailed. Don't worry about anything else other than those basics. Calorie deficit, 80-20 whole foods, improving your activity, getting some decent sleep for recovery, and going to the gym 2 to 3 times at the very minimum, focusing on weight training, but also potentially incorporating a bit of cardio as well. If these things are not done and are not nailed, you won't get results. And there's even less of a reason for you to focus on anything else which doesn't really matter as much. I hope that helped and I hope that makes sense. If you like this video, give it a like. If you've got any questions, feel free to comment below because I'd be more than happy to answer them for you. And if you want to catch any more free fitness or fat loss based content without any bullshit as always, make sure that you're either following my Instagram at k.p_health or subscribe to this channel. Peace.